All right, happy Tuesday the 5th, Cinco de Mayo, the day after May the 4th be with you. And the market, after a incredible sell-off to the 8-period moving average, has since rebounded, and it did make it eked out new highs today, and then sold off just some kind of program sales into the close. After hours, it was up a little bit, some positive earnings and all that kind of stuff. So today what I want to do is I'm going to look at the daily chart and then the 30-minute chart. And then on the 30-minute chart, we're going to have the voodoo lines. If you're familiar with Sam in our room, he has just updated this oscillator tool, which is really cool. And you'll see on this 30-minute chart that this buy signal here and the bars are also related to his oscillator tool here, which is called the ST, Simple Trading, High-Low Elite. And he's about to launch a workshop on this, which I'll talk about in a second. But take a look at it on the charts here, which is pretty cool. Okay, so daily chart, obviously, new highs today. You can see on the daily chart we're losing momentum, which makes sense. Compared to this move, the move that we're having now, even though it's crawling higher, you can see that daily momentum is flagged, which is why in this kind of environment, it's important to look at some intraday charts. 30 minutes fine. You don't need to look at a 1-minute chart or 5-minute chart. If this is fine. And on something like this, you're just kind of looking like, okay, so when this was coming lower like this, is it going to fail? Are we going to keep selling off from here? Or is it going to turn? And so that's when you see things like an oscillator like this are super helpful to say, oh yeah, this thing is ready to go. And typically how this works, and of course Sam created this, so he knows a lot more about it than I do. He'll talk more about this on Thursday, is that you kind of see that, okay, safe to stay, and then, let's get out here in terms of a signal because we're getting some sells. And so anyway, and these are interdependent of each other, but it's a pretty cool tool. So what I want to do is I want to take a look at, the markets, kind of the Mag 7, some of the assets. And we're just kind of in a area here where, I like to day trade, hold on to some swing trades. The semis are obviously very strong. And then just keeping an eye on at some point, is this market going to actually have a significant pullback? So very similar here, of course, NASDAQ and S&P's pretty close in terms of how they're running, although the NASDAQ, which was lagging for a long time, is leading. And then the other thing I want to point out here also is Bitcoin. So I do think Bitcoin had bottomed, and it is bottomed. And so the question is from here, at the very least, looking for a move to 84,505. I think we can get up to the 200 before we need to see some back and forth. And so, the questions on how to play that, typically coin will move with it. Today it was a little quiet, and that can happen. But it had a nice breakout yesterday, and it's still holding that breakout. But this zone of 213.50 is huge. But if it breaks through this, it's going to fly. So I do like that one. All right, so that's Bitcoin. Taking a look at Tesla here. Tesla 200 is its nemesis right now. And it did get up to a little over, it gave it a smack on the lips today. Big old kisarooski there. And man, if we get a close above this 200, I think this thing is just going to rip. But it's having a, it's a big level. The 200 is on everyone's radar, retail and institutions. Meta, I think, is in a tough spot here. This is a chart of death. And, if anything, I don't know if there's really a trade to do on this. It's, I think there's other things to do than short Meta, but selling call credit spreads makes sense. Again, there's probably better things to do. You could argue there's a head and shoulders reversal setting up here, but, that's not an argument that I want to really spend too much time on. That just shows a stock that the market thinks it's fairly valued here. So the question is, are people going to still buy it here? Or are they going to unload it and then try to move that money into something else? Microsoft, kind of similar, not as bad as Meta, but same thing. It's the market saying, you know what, you're in a good spot right now. Just relax. You are fairly valued where you are right now. Nvidia, I do like Nvidia here quite a bit. And yeah, look, after this move, all the way up to 216. Does it need a breather? Absolutely. We're getting to the point, though, where even you got a couple things. From a technical perspective, just a simple fib retracement. This is where money can start coming in. Surely we're at the 382, maybe the 50. The 5618 is always kind of the nice buy zone if we can get down there. And of course, other earnings and things like that are coming up. Earnings are coming up. Yeah, earnings are coming up on Nvidia, so a lot of hurry up and wait there as well. For Google's just a monster right here. New all-time highs again today. And anytime you see something like this that's extended, you can come down here to the 30-minute chart. If you've got Sam's tool, it'll give you buy signals, and at the same time, squeeze ultra settings. It's like, yeah, it looks high on the daily, but as long as you're still getting buy signals on the 30-minute, you can still trade it. Of course, Apple was just beast mode today. I've been waiting for this stock to make new all-time highs again. I think I've told you guys this before. I mean, just their equipment is, they accidentally became the poster child for AI agent explosion. And obviously we know the story about all the chip shortages, and but Apple makes hardware. Like, nobody wants to run AI agents on Windows. Nobody wants to, and there's Linux, you can buy a Linux box, and which isn't bad. Then you kind of have to be a little more of a programmer to at least use it and understand it. And if you're a Windows person, going to a Mac isn't a huge leap. It's different, but it's not that different. But Mac is just kind of, it's, people are realizing that if you're running agents and you need an always-on server in your home, it ain't going to be a Windows box. And your laptop's not going to work if you're running a lot of cron jobs. And that's it. And so and I think I mentioned too, I found a 24 gigabyte, 1 terabyte M4 Pro Mini from a reseller that was selling it for 30% higher than Apple. On Apple, that same thing would have got to me in August. So I just needed one. And then the studio that I ordered for 10 grand, it's not going to come till August. So again, I don't know if these numbers are going to have much of an impact for a company that sells 50 million iPhones a quarter, but that does help. My guess is there's a lot of people like me in a situation where you got a lot of stuff on order that's not going to come till August, or maybe they're going to announce the M5 and you're going to cancel that and order the M5 one. Either way, that's not booked revenue now, but when they're talking about their forecast, their forecast is looking pretty good. So Apple just looking suddenly, for a while it was kind of the little, poor little Apple. It's suddenly back in beast mode. And then the same with Amazon. And I think Amazon is the same thing, kind of the poster child of, but again, AI and the engines that are driving this. And it's to the point too, where I've mentioned when, when AI first came about, it was kind of like, oh, wow, there's gonna be these $10 billion, GPU centers. And then it became 100 billion. And now it's $1 trillion. And it's to the point now where militaries, and like China, America, everybody that's in the military race is realizing that AI is going to have an edge. And so that's even more investment. And, the question is are we going to end up towards the Star Trek version of AI in 10 years, or is it the Terminator version? We'll see. In the meantime, I'll keep feeding my zebras. But the main point of this is that this, there is, the AI bubble, it's going to burst. But it's kind of hasn't really started yet in terms of seeing, the real big impacts. So we'll see. Again, we're going to all know a lot more in 10 years, but there's a lot of stuff happening here. Okay, so that was Amazon. Micron Technologies, the shortage I just been talking about, Micron Technologies is right on the forefront of it. Its entire inventory for 2026 is sold. It's selling its 2027 inventory already. Just the demand there is huge. Palantir had earnings, and they were kind of flat. That's kind of what we were looking for, something quiet here. Something like this stock, when you have a run like this, it takes a minute for things to catch up. This was a excess enthusiasm, classic head and shoulders top, and now it's like hey, it's got a great valuation from where it was at $6, and now it's just got to catch up to that. The valuation has been fully formed in the company and stuff like that. So I want to take a look at a couple of other things here today as well. This is an important one. So bonds here up a little bit. So why is that important? So here's a phenomena that I think, at least I've noticed. I'm sure other people have noticed it too. But if you want to time a macro event, watch this and put it at 4. Let's see here. Just 43. So that's 4.3%. So anytime the 10-year yield gets to this is something that Trump watches. I think at this point it's part of policy that anytime we bump up to 4.3%, that's too high for him. And then it's like, okay, we need to stop whatever it is we're doing. Stop the bombing. Let's make a deal. All the things here. So now that we're kind of hovering a little bit above it, so anyway, just keep an eye on that. It's happened many times now where anytime we get up to 4.3%, there's announcements to ease off on that. So that's kind of the line in the sand, kind of like the Powell put, if you're ever familiar with that. This is the Trump interest rate line in the sand. So I think that's kind of fascinating, and just think of it as if we're over it, just policies and announcements that are supportive of interest rates, kind of easing off from here. And that means kind of, backing off on some of the things that are causing it to go higher. All right. So fascinating stuff there. Before I forget here too, I wanted to let everybody know. So this is this oscillator Sam has put together. This is something he's had for years, and it's a core tool for a lot of the people on our Simple Trading site. He has just come out with some additions to it that I'm pretty excited about, because a lot of the times, especially in markets like this, where it's like, oh my God, it's so high. You just want to be able to kind of look at the pretty colors and take the signal. And, he's really adapted it to that. And so what he's going to talk about is, are you getting blindsided and missing moves in this news-driven market? The new way to X-ray charts for true momentum before every trade. So on something like, and we'll take a look at this chart here again in a second. So, but the idea here is he's going to talk about the 3 inputs that move price, and why signals keep failing if you only measure 1 or 2, why true momentum turned bearish 5 months before the QQQ collapsed. Of course, that was, from the larger time frames too, he looks at it. How to trade any chart with total confidence in trending or choppy markets. How pattern recognition in Sam's system lets him turn off his brain and just trade. He and I were slacking about this morning. How Sam's system flashed buy signals 2 months before the war drove crude oil up to $119. And can look at the trades he's taken with us, 27 of 30 of his trades that have been winners. So anyway, just put your email here. He will not only talk about the tool, but why it's important, what are the impacts that it can have, what parts of the market it measures that's important. And anyway, I think you're going to love it. And Sam, I love his deadpan sense of humor. He's got this very pessimistic point of view on life, but then underneath it, I think he's, happy to be alive for the most part. So it provides very, very unique commentary. So anyway, looking forward to it, and I'm going to kind of take a look at that as well.